what I'm doing.
Cool, thanks. I forgot to start recording because I had such a long lead time before. So thanks for that introduction, Darsh. Cool. So I just wanted to ask you, I've got a whole bunch of questions, and some of them might be very basic for you guys, but for those of you who are new, maybe just give us the background of SEO, what SEO is, and the difference between SEO and AEO, and why we should implement AEO, because SEO is what everybody talks about. What are the differences and why should we implement it?
So SEO is search engine optimization. So it, as the name suggests, that it optimizes your website or your online presence in one way, shape, or form for search engines. So like search engines like Google, the big brother of all the search engines. So now what's happening is, so how do you really optimize for SEO is you on your website, you put in the keywords, and the structure of the website is primed to be searchable on the search engines. Now, when SEO came into picture, even if you had optimized your website a little bit for SEO, you were still being ranked high, which means your business was still being recommended by Google as in the top, in the first page itself, if not in the top 5 results. So the competitors of this particular business, they started realizing that this is what is happening. There's something called as SEO, so we should optimize our business for SEO as well. And now they did not just optimize their business a little bit for SEO, they optimized their business a lot for SEO. There are so many different ways that you can do, so many different steps that you can take to optimize your website for SEO. Now, over a period of time, the industry got saturated. And that's when ads also came into play. Like you have to run ads to get more traffic, more leads into the business. So with AI, the playing field has been kind of leveled, because if you've optimized for SEO and your competitor is now optimizing for AEO, which is AI engine optimization or answer engine optimization, then SEO optimized website is not good enough. So because I can see the trend, I think most of you are also actually practicing this, if not every day, then more than in the past, is that you go to ChatGPT and ask questions rather than going to Google and doing your searches, right? You may go to Google to verify some stuff, but your primary and source of information now ends up being ChatGPT. That's what's happening in my family as well. So what happens is, because now you are on AI engines, you would want your business to be optimized for AI engines and not for search engines. So, and the way you optimize for AI engines is not exactly the same as how you optimize for search engines. It's a much broader and deeper, if not science, I can say a domain where you have to understand the methodologies that the AI engines are utilizing before they recommend your business. So that's the main difference, where earlier you were optimizing only for search engines, now you're optimizing for AI engines, and that not only requires optimizing your website with just specific keywords, but it also requires you to optimize your content in a conversational format. What does that mean is, when you go to ChatGPT, you talk to ChatGPT like you're talking to a human being. You don't really search based on keywords. You ask questions. Hey, can you tell me how do I put this table together that I bought from IKEA, right? So you ask that question in a question format that you're asking as if you're asking a human being, and then it can give you the steps, and then you follow. So your content on the website needs to be conversational. That's one of many things that you need to do to make your website AEO optimized. Then there's something called a schema markup. I'm not going to go too technical on this until you want me to, but
I actually played with the schema markup earlier, and I did a little test, and we can show them just now.
Okay, all right, okay, perfect. So I'll then just talk a little bit about it so that you can show it, so that everybody's able to relate with what that is. So schema markup is a code that sits behind the page, doesn't really matter what page your website has, whatever pages that your website has, doesn't really matter what page. A schema markup is specific to that specific page only. So it is a code for that page that sits behind the page that is not visible to the viewer of the website. So, and that optimizes your website even further. So you're not only talking to AI through the AI optimized content that is visible on your website, but you're also giving input to the AI engines in form of a code. That's called schema markup. There are so many other things. There's another thing which is called llms.txt, which is pretty new even for the AI world. It's a sitemap. Basically, it tells AI engines as to what this entire website consists of in a manner that it's more readable, it's more conducive for AI engines. So these are a few things that you can do to optimize your website for AEO.
So Darsh, yeah, thanks for that. So just about that TXT thing,
Yeah.
does that, if you create the schema with your, say, your platform or your software, does it have this TXT thing in it, or does somebody have to know how to do that and put that? Can anyone put that in? Is there a specific place it needs to go, or does it have to go on every page? What does one have to do? Because I'm also thinking about the people here who aren't technical, and maybe I'll just talk to those people because I'm one of those. For instance, like if you one of the reasons I wanted to do this is I also want to build my personal profile. So I don't have like lots of technical skills, but I came across Pledge.ai, and they've actually got apps that design the entire funnel, which is a landing page for you. And I thought to myself, for people like screenwriters or authors or creative people, it's also an opportunity to build your own profile. And one can create a simple landing page, and you can put in if you use that platform, you don't have to actually do the schemas yourself. You can just, am I right, Darsh? Just tell me if I'm talking junk. And then you can talk about like what genre you write in, where you stay, whatever, so that if producers or someone are looking for you, then you should come up at the top of the LLMs. Like say someone's like, oh, I urgently need a writer in Atlanta. Then at least you've got a chance. Because if we're not out there and we're not visible, then we've got no chance. So that's why I like this, because it just gives us an opportunity that we didn't have before. So yeah, so thanks, Darsh. I mean, I don't want to start with the schema markups because it's like the hardest part of it. So I'll show it to people just now, but maybe talk about, I don't want to get too technical, but structurally, like what is the difference, structurally between like AEO and SEO, because they are different. And I know lots of people think that the SEO is good enough, but structurally, what is different about it?
I'll answer that question, but you said you've got screenwriters and copywriters as your friends, and they may be on the call. So if you hate AI because it writes copies, I want to address that one thing that.
Oh my gosh, they hate it, Darsh.
Let me address that, because I think with what I'm going to share with you, you're going to be happy about it, because I can tell you from the statistics that a content that is written by AI does not get as much traction, and it does not pull as many people towards it as much as a human written content does. So you guys still are champions. You guys still are beating AI when it comes to creativity. But one thing that I want to share is that you're great at what you do, but you may not be really aware as to how AI engines function, right? So for that particular part, the code part and all of those things, those are the things that you don't really have to worry about, because when you use this platform, it takes care of the schema markup by itself. You can write your stories, you can write whatever you want to write in the way that you write, which AI cannot beat, at least as of now. So there's nothing to fear about. But at least the part that AI needs to understand, because you need to be visible. If you're creating something really great that can impact people's lives, it needs to be visible, right? So it would be a disservice to not, if it does not really reach out to the people. So that part is taken care by the tools that we have. It automatically does that. And LLM's question that you asked, that you were talking about, Eve, just want to address that. We are working on the next version that we're going to launch for the website builder that will create the llms.txt by itself as well, in addition to the schema markup. So that is in progress. So if you, and I do not know any website builder in the world that does both of these things. And the patent is pending. We're waiting for it. And then we're going to be the only one that actually came up with this idea. To your question as to how they're structurally different, they're structurally different because SEO is primarily focusing on ranking your website based on keywords and your plus other things as well, but keywords are one of the main things. AEO, when it comes to AI engines, you are relying on the answers that the AI engines are giving you. So it goes through an extensive research process before suggesting your business to someone. And because it's AI engine's reputation is at stake, if they provide an information that is not accurate, then you're not going to use that AI engine anymore, and they lost a customer. So how it is different structurally is that you have to be present everywhere, and it needs to be congruent in a way that wherever these AI engines go to research your business, they should be able to find that congruent information and in all of those sources, and not just the sources that you create by yourself, like your website, your social media platforms, but you also need to be over a period of time, because people are going to start citing you. So if you are available, if your presence is seen on third-party platforms, and it's being recommended by third parties, that's another source of information for AI engines to validate that whatever you are saying on your website, on your social media platforms is true, because others are speaking about it as well. So that's how structurally it is different. You need to be able to express your expertise and your experience and authority in that domain before you're recommended by AI engines. It's not just about keywords anymore. It is about providing that kind of presence online that AI engines understand that, yes, whatever you're selling or whatever you're talking about, you know about your stuff, and you're not just using keywords.
Okay, so that brings me to the other thing that that I've recently learned that's fundamental is that if you're trying to build your profile, a website, whatever it is, you've repeated on a number of occasions that blogs and frequently asked questions, the FAQs, are very important. And is that because it's the conversational type of things that people would ask for that are different to the keywords, or what are your why are blogs and FAQs like so critical? Because, you know, I mean, I'll be honest with you, like in my corporate life, sometimes, you know, we're building websites and stuff, and the FAQs are the thing that are left last to consider. But suddenly now I'm thinking, oh gosh, maybe we need to consider those first.
100%. The FAQs and blogs definitely play a crucial role when it comes to optimizing website for AEO, and I'll tell you the reason why. Because people are not searching for keywords anymore. People are asking direct questions, and when they're asking direct questions, if that question is not answered on your website will not be searchable. So you need to know about your business in a way that you should also be able to come out with the FAQs that people are going to ask for about the industry that your business belongs to, so that when somebody asks that question, you already have addressed that question in your website, so that AI engines, when they're looking for an answer to that question, they'll be like, hey, there's an answer for this question on this website. Probably they know about this thing, so let's just recommend this business to this person when they're looking for this answer. And so that's one. And then it's not just about answering that question. Now AI engines, they found that answer. They're going to go a little deeper, either into the website and or on the internet. So on the rest of the website, if you have blog posts, so let's say, let me pick up an example for a project management. So if you have a blog post for just one blog post, which says the tools that you should use to be an efficient project manager, that's just one blog post. But imagine if you have clusters of blogs, a cluster of blogs where you're talking about, then the main cluster says how to be a good project manager. And then you have different blogs under that cluster, 10 tools that a project manager should use, 5 mistakes that you should avoid, 10 things that a project manager should take care of in their day-to-day life. So if you have all of these blogs plus a few more, and now you have a cluster of how to be a good project manager, plus you have other clusters as well that touch on the topic of project management, that is going to give an impression to the AI engines that whatever you're talking about, you know your stuff. You are an expert in that, you have experience in it, and you have authority in it. Otherwise, you would not have been able to create so much of content that you could talk
so it's
about
volume. So volume
Yeah.
is also important. So
Yeah.
so also I was just thinking, like, if I was going to put, say, FAQs on my site, say about screenwriting, right? Would I ask the question, would I or answer it on the website? Would, if I said, I am a specialist in writing horror, say, which I don't, but anyway, but or would you have a question that would say, what are the genres that you specialize in? Like, what would be better what would get picked up more?
More specific answers and more specific questions are going to get picked up more. For example, let's say you are a restaurant owner and you have an Italian restaurant. You can't really write all the recipes in the FAQs, but let's say if someone is searching for how do you make Italian pizza at home, and you as a restaurant owner have a blog post where you've described all of this, and then you have an FAQ section as well where people are talking about Italian food, this is going to give an impression to the AI engines that, okay, this is the blog post that I should share because it's from a restaurant. And then from that blog post itself, you can in the end also add a call to action that, hey, this is a recipe that you can use at home, but because of the sophisticated equipment and the ingredients that we have at a restaurant, you would love our pizzas that we bake. Now you've gained a customer because you're inviting them to come on to your restaurant. Number one. Number two, when any LLM, any large language model like ChatGPT, whenever they suggest any answer, they also provide you with the source as to where did they source that information from. That's another way how people can come onto your website and know more about you. So you have to be more specific in terms of what you're talking about, and to express your the diversity of the things that you have blog posts. If you have a generic answer to generic questions, that's not going to help you be truthful.
Okay, no, that's great. So I guess every time you just got to think like the person who's asking the question.
Yeah,
that's what you got to do. Okay, not like the business owner of what I want to share. It's about putting yourself in their shoes. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. No, that's awesome. And then you've mentioned GPUs, graphic processing units. Tell us a little bit about that if there's differences in these two worlds or what the relevance is.
It's a technical thing to go into, but I will try explaining it in as simple words as I can. So the GPU processes information hundreds and thousands of times faster than a CPU can. And the storage capacity that you can plug along with the GPU is humongous. So, like, for example, what I'm trying to say is, let's say if we go like just 5 years back, or even today, let's say if you are trying to open a big file, which is 2 gigabytes or 3 gigabytes on your laptop or on your desktop, it can take a few seconds to load up and start playing or start showing you the results. Whereas imagine the number of queries and number of questions and the diversity of the questions and the depth of the questions and the location from where these questions are being asked from ChatGPT. Imagine the magnitude of that. So how is ChatGPT able to give you the precise answer to your question while I am sitting in the other part of the world and asking a completely different question and I'm being answered at the same time? So that is the power of computing that only GPUs have at this point in time. I mean, there are some quantum computers as well, which are not accessible to general public, but we are accessing GPUs, the power of GPUs, by using these LLMs, because they process your question and pull the information out which is relevant after doing all of that research in such a short span of time that it gives you the answers that you're looking for. That's what GPU does, basically.
Okay, and the relevance for that in AEO, is there any like benefit, or that's just really information?
It's an information, but if you know about GPUs, you basically understanding as to what's happening. There's so much of computing power that's sitting behind these LLMs. That's how they're able to function. And this is just going to keep getting better and better. More and more GPUs are being installed to give you more and more powerful answers. ChatGPT 5, I think it will be launched within this year itself. And it's going to be smarter than most of the human beings in the world in terms of the depth and the variety of the things that it can talk about. Like at this point in time, ChatGPT, if you try to go 3-4 levels down, you may not be satisfied. If you're an expert in your domain, you may not be satisfied with the answers that you're getting, but this one is going to be way, way smarter, ChatGPT 5. And how, for that, what do you really need? You need a lot of data, a lot more data at the back end and more computing power. And which means, how does it translate to AEO, optimizing your website, is that if you are optimizing it properly, and it's going to be even more important for you to optimize your website for AEO now, because this computing power is going to it's not only going to process things faster, but it's going to see where are the other things that you're present, what are the other platforms that you're present. If the existing GPU is not really doing that research, this one, the new one, is going to do it, which means if you're present in different sources on different platforms and other people are talking about you, your business getting recommended, the chances of your business getting recommended gets even higher. So right now, what is happening is, because most of the businesses are not really aware about AEO, and the businesses and their websites are not optimized for AEO. If you search for something on ChatGPT, the results that you're getting are for the businesses that have been in the market for a long time. So it pays to be an early adopter. So if other businesses have adopted to the SEO methodologies in the past, and they've taken the basic steps, those are the businesses that are getting recommended. With the increased power of GPUs, it will no longer go to the existing businesses that have optimized for SEO. It will go out and start searching for AEO optimized businesses even more. So
Okay,
that's how it
okay,
is relevant.
that's awesome. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm keen to like get started. So anyone here, are you interested in maybe just seeing potentially how you can implement some of these AEO things? I'll just share my screen for those that are interested. So I think Darsh as well, and this is a question I always had, and I know that please put any questions in the chat, guys. People who have WordPress websites, okay, some people don't want to like go and recreate them, but these schemas allow one to do that, right? To be able to place these schemas into their websites. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then or you can use a funnel that does it for you. So I just wanted to show you guys. So this is Pledge.ai, and it's got a whole bunch of apps. So I'm just sharing my subscription with you guys, and these are the general apps, Darsh. And inside here is the AEO content creator, and this is where it can do it for you. There are, where's the, oh, doesn't
You
want
can
to,
search for it on.
here it is, here it is. Okay, so this is the schema markup. So to make it simple, ignore the right-hand side, but to make it simple, if you just answer these few questions on the left-hand side. So I mean, in terms of the apps on this platform, this is super simple. And those of you who've written loads of prompts for ChatGPT will understand this a whole lot better. But if you generate the results, you can get the schema. Here it is. You literally can copy and paste this into your website. But if you wanted to and you're not that technically inclined to do it, you could use one of these funnels. Josh, just stop me if I'm talking junk here. Hey? And this is quite a simple website, and you can create it yourself. And this will put all the schemas, it does it for you, right? It optimizes it for you. Is that correct?
Correct. Correct. Yes. Correct.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then so what would the best way do you reckon to implement this, keeping in mind, you know, not everyone is a subscriber? Is one able to do this on the likes of Wix, for example, or not?
No, because Wix, it is a great tool, but then it does not really take care of AEO optimization automatically for the websites that you build on Wix. That's one of the biggest differentiators that we have. Plus, because we built this website builder from scratch, like our team did it from the scratch, so we've taken care of all the things that are actually missing or that are not very user friendly in all of the existing platforms. So we kind of just made it better. We're continuing to add newer and newer features every single day. So now the thing is, so this is a website builder, which is like most of all the website builders are like a blank canvas, and you have to copy and paste the content from somewhere else. We are adding elements within the website builder itself that you can create content within the page itself. So you don't really have to go outside somewhere to create an AEO optimized content. It creates that content within the website builder itself. So you don't really need to have multiple tabs or multiple windows open. Just stay within the website builder, create content, and within that website builder itself, and your website is ready.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having mine.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do two. I want to do one, like a business one and a personal profile one for my scripts and everything. So maybe one day can produce something. But the other thing is, can we talk about social media? Like, we all have social media, well, most of us have social media profiles and things, but you've got like this here. Why is this social media profile optimizing thing? You can choose, oh gosh, I don't know why it keeps clicking off. Oh, my hat. Why should one optimize differently on your profile? Like, what are the kinds of things when you set up your profile? You just say, hey, I'm Eve, blah blah fish, whatever. What kinds of things should one consider to put in your profile or add to your profile that is more important than it was maybe before to be picked up by AEO?
So it is, the fundamentals are the same, but the length of what you can put in the profiles is different for different platforms. Like for Google Business Profile, I think it is 750 characters, if I'm not wrong. But for About Us page on Facebook, you can actually put in close to 150, 200 words as well. So the fundamentals are that when you are writing your profile, writing about your profile as to what your profile should consist of, it should consist of the information that expresses, again, the same thing, EEAT, which is your experience, expertise, and authority in that particular domain. So it's not just about writing anything. Hey, I am Darsh, and this is what I've done, and all of that stuff. That's not what will help you to get up to optimize your online presence for AEO as well. And as I was mentioning, these LLMs, they go to various sources to find the information. So they're going to go to different social media profiles that you have for your business as well, and they're going to see what have you written over there. And if it is not congruent with what you've written on your website, the chances of you getting found is going to be lesser and lesser. So that's the fundamental, as to you should be able to express your EEAT. And these profile builders help you create that profile because it takes into consideration all of those aspects that you need to take care of while creating an AEO optimized profile.
Okay, so everything we put online from now on, we have to think about it being conversational or questions or things like that. I don't know. Am I getting it?
Conversational, okay. Plus it should, whatever you're writing, it should express exactly what your business is about, and not really vague text. It should very clearly express what your business is all about, and not something that sounds fancy but doesn't really feed proper information to anyone. So like if you go to Google Business Profile, if you search for Pledge.ai on Google, whatever you see on the Google Business Profile is AEO optimized. So if you write it by yourself, you may lose out on some of the elements, and may not be able to capture everything.
The one thing I've heard you say before, and you know, traditionally websites write quite copy heavy text for the website content. And you've mentioned, and I've kind of heard it, snippets of it, but I haven't heard you go into detail, or maybe I wasn't listening in detail, is about bullet points. So is it better to do bullet points, or is it still good to write long form sentences?
No, it's not good to write long form sentences where you can create bullet points. If you look at how human beings would prefer the content, so if you have something that's written in form of paragraphs, always, let me step back. So it's not just about the bullet points. Bullet points are a part of how the structure of a content should be. So let's say for a blog post, when you're writing a blog post, every paragraph should have a header. Every paragraph should have a header. And any paragraph that can be converted into bullet points or step-by-step processes, if you're explaining something which is a step-by-step process, it's the best to actually put serial numbers in front, step 1, step 2, step 3, and also put images or videos wherever it is relevant. So blog posts don't really have to be just text. Now, why does that happen is, like, if you ask this question from yourself, when you're reading something which is a long text, do you always read everything, or do you just skim through it and you just read the headers and to get an idea of what it's written over there? And if something is more interesting to you, then you go deeper into it, right? So headlines is part of the structure. Bullet points is part of the structure. So it's easier to go through the bullet points.
Okay, so headlines are also important.
Yes, headlines are important. Bullet points are important. If there is a step-by-step process, you have to write it in a step 1, step 2, step 3, add images, add videos wherever it is relevant. You basically have to put on a thinking cap of the world's best customer service representative. That if you are providing information to the readers, to the viewers of the website, what is the best way for them to consume that information in the shortest span of time possible? And the information that you're providing them is deep and it's vast, so that they don't have to go somewhere else to find relevant information. If you're talking about something, they don't have to go to some other source of information either to validate it or find the missing part that you've not really covered. Hence, if you have cluster of blogs in this particular structure, you are keeping the person within your ecosystem itself and improving their experience as well, because they're not searching somewhere else for the information that they need.
Okay, cool. And then what about voice? Like I've noticed that you know, say for podcasts and things like that, do they count? Does Does it search for voice or not really? I don't know.
It does search for voice. It searches for videos as well. So it depends upon the podcast as to where it is being telecasted as well, or where it is being hosted. That's one of the important things. Another thing is that it definitely
Okay,
searches
tell
for
us
voice.
what is best, what's best to be found, and
No,
what's maybe not so great.
No, it's the reputation of that podcast as to how long has it been running and how many people view that podcast. That's important. It's not the platform as to where it is being hosted. You can host it on your website. You can put it on your website, but if there are millions of views on the podcasts that you've shot in the past and recorded in the past, that is more important. So
okay, so that's pretty much the same like it's always been.
Yes.
Obviously, the big podcasters get served up. Okay, so there's nothing like really special that you can say in your podcast that's going to make it.
I'll tell you what happens. So, for instance, let's say we're shooting this and you put this on a third-party platform, which I have no control over. Right now, when you're going to write a little bit of description, it's going to have Pledge.ai, it's going to have your name, it's going to have AEO as a keyword, it's going to have my name over there. That's going to be another piece of information for AI engines that, okay, wherever we see Pledge.ai, we see it written along with AEO and SEO, right? And this source of information is not only from Pledge.ai sources, it is from third-party sources as well. So that's how it helps you.
Okay, to have like what do you call it, backlinking type stuff?
Yeah, kind of, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you mentioned EEAT, and I just dumped that in the chat. And I know that those are like principles of SEO, and they're still relevant. Just very basically talk about that, because I think that's an important aspect to have consistency.
Yeah. They're fundamentals for AEO. For SEO, you don't really have to express your experience and your expertise and authority and trust. So these are fundamentals.
Sorry, for which one? You broke up. Which one don't you need it for?
It's not fundamental for an SEO. It's a fundamental for an AEO that you need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just let's repeat what it stands for. Experience.
So, experience, what is it? Expertise, authority, and trust.
Okay. So talk to us about these. How do you, what's going on here?
So if somebody comes to me and starts talking to me about how do you build a rocket, I will not be able to talk for more than 2 minutes because I don't have any experience.
It's long. I'd be concerned. You couldn't even talk for 2 minutes.
I can at least explain the aerodynamics of it, and that's the end of my story, right? So that surface information that's available for everyone. Or if somebody comes to me and asks me about, tell me about apples, I can probably talk about a couple of minutes or 5 minutes, and then I'll not be able to speak anymore because I don't know the molecular structure of how apples are made and all of that stuff. So because I'm not a nutritionist. So if somebody comes and talks to me about AEO, I can talk about hours. I can bring that conversation that can take hours into 5 minutes format as well and provide the most important aspects. Why? Because I have experience in it. I am an expert in it. I have authority in that domain because I'm able to create this entire platform. And that's how people trust me, because of these three things, that, okay, whatever he's saying, whenever we talk about any of the stuff, he has the latest information. The platform has the latest tools. So, and it's not just that these are any tools, but they really provided information and the content that optimizes business for AEO, because like at least 7 people have come back to me in the first 2 months itself and telling me, hey, we use the content and we're already seeing the results on ChatGPT. So that builds trust as well, right? And that is only because I have spent time in it. If you are not genuine about it, if you've not really spent time and done your work, you cannot do that sustainably. So that's why you should not really pick up anything and try to just copy it and do it in your life and say that and try to get success in it. It would not happen. You need team, okay, to make a lot of things happen. It's very difficult to do everything by yourself. I'll probably cover that later on, but essentially you need to be able to express EEAT genuinely, because you have to do it sustainably to stay relevant. Otherwise,
so I mean that tells me one needs testimonials. So in my head, I'm thinking blogs, FAQs, and testimonials for the
yes,
you just froze.
Yes, but
oh, there you're back.
Yeah. So blogs, testimonials, FAQs, yes, but then there are more things that goes into it. So when it comes to blogs, the blogs have to be revised as well. You can't really just have blogs written once and then just leave it at that. If there is a more relevant information, or the things have changed over a course of time, you wrote a blog, let's say 1 year ago, and that's not relevant anymore because things have changed, and you don't really update that, which means you have stale information on your website, which means that you don't really have an expertise or authority in your domain anymore. So you got to go back and revise it, or completely discard it if it is totally not relevant anymore. So it's not just about doing it once, it's about making sure that you are always to the point and always with the latest information and the most relevant information every single time.
Well, because I mean, it's a lot of work, but I mean, nothing that you want to succeed in is easy. So
100%.
one has to up to date. It's just about knowing what the important things are.
Yeah.
So that's what I've sort of got in my head is blogs, FAQs, and testimonials, and then to keep them fresh. And like you're saying, obviously it's better if you've got more people or a team of people to help you. But if you're on your own, you kind of got to pick the top 3 or whatever. And yeah, it's hard, but I reckon it's worth it, and I'm really excited about this. And I had a question now. So what would be the best way to implement this? Like, you know, there are lots of people out there. Do you think that it's okay to kind of do this on your own? Or, I mean, obviously you guys have got the platform and that's amazing. But, you know, I know a lot of SEO people are getting quite touchy about this. Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Like, how should we be worried about the people that are saying, oh, AEO is not real, it's not true, it's only SEO? I just want to understand your point of view on that.
Yeah, if I say something in the favor of SEO, it's obviously going to come across as biased, but I'm just going to lay very logical reasoning here. So if you in your life are using AI engines more than the search engines, you have to be relevant and searchable on AI engines and not just search engines. And how do you optimize for that is what is called AEO. And the way you search for stuff is also different on these search engines, which means how you need to be searchable, how will you get searchable on these platforms also has to change. It's very fundamental. It's like, you know, you go 5 down and you will understand the actual reasoning for it. So if you start asking multi-layered questions and you go a level deep, you will understand that this is going to stay because this is where the entire world is moving. If US government, declared that they're going to invest 500 billion into AI, there is a reason for that. So they would not really pick up any venture and say, okay, let's not invest, let's just invest anywhere and everywhere. So if they are investing in AI, the entire world is moving towards AI. We listen to the news every single day. So how is AEO going to be irrelevant? Specifically, and people may think that, okay, it's going to increase competition, but I think it's going to be the other way around. Because if you have spent 10, 15 years doing something, the experience and expertise that you have in your domain, the new person does not have that. So the experience and expertise that you can express, the other person cannot, even with the help of an AI. It cannot.
Yeah.
And the connections and the network that you have created over a period of time, which means that the flow of information that you're going to have is not going to be available to somebody who's new on the block. So you're just utilizing AI to make yourself visible to the rest of the world. And nobody new can just come and simply just replace you unless and until they collect the information that you've collected in the last 15 years in just a matter of 1 year or something like that.
Yeah, and I'm too scared to ask this, but what are your thoughts now about DeepSeek? Like, would you do you think that it's a good idea to use DeepSeek? Do you think it's going to last? What is your opinion on that?
It's very difficult to comment on that because I do not really know about what's their view to the things. But all I can tell you is whatever I've heard and researched about DeepSeek is, I mean, first of all, governments are trying to block it. They don't really want DeepSeek to be available to the masses. So you use as extensively as you wanted to. But at the same time, what are the motives behind it, the ethical reasoning, and what is getting questioned is that China launched this for, to collect the information and all of that stuff, the unethical reasoning. But I don't know the truth. We don't know about that. So that's the reason it's difficult for me to just simply switch over to DeepSeek unless the curtain. So it's very difficult for me to comment on DeepSeek specifically, because
no,
there's more
it's so
happening
weird
in the
because
background than
it was just like this major hot topic 2 weeks ago, and then suddenly everyone shut it down, and so it was, who knows. But anyway, we carry on without it. I've got two more questions. The one just about images, because I believe that it's important to name your images in a specific way, which also helps. What do you have to name your images as in the background? Like when you upload them or save them or whatever, just talk about the benefits and what you do.
So you gotta name your image as what the page is about. So let's say if you are creating a blog post that has images in it, and let's say you're talking about a blog post which talks about the relevance of social media, and you have images that are relevant to social media itself. So your images should talk about, the name of the image should be social media 1, social media 2, and you can also add your business's name along with the image as well. It's another way of letting the internet know in one additional way and form that so when you talk about social media and this name, they're coming together so many number of times. That's not visible to the viewer of the blog post, but it is visible to the internet in form of what the name
so
is.
You should actually put your company name on the name of the image. So instead of how when you take the picture from your camera and it's got like 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 12, whatever JPEG, don't leave it like that. That's what you're saying. Actually use it as an opportunity and name it properly. Okay. No, that's great advice. So Darsh, I personally am really excited about this. I see that there are like lots of opportunities. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want this to be like I was just doing this to share information, but I don't know, some of you, if you're interested, I like this little platform because it's simple. It's for me, it's easy to use. And I've got access to ask people questions and things like that. So I just thought maybe just tell us, I can't even remember, how much is it to subscribe to it? Because I just did it.
It is $49 a month or $297 for a year.
Oh, okay. That's not a lot. That's why I'm clearly not feeling it, but I get the benefit of it. So I'm very grateful for this. And are there any questions, guys? I don't see any questions in the chat. Oh, here's one question. It's in the Q&A. How does AI give different answer patterns for same queries asked repeatedly? While there is no change in data inputs, can we control LLM result patterns?
You can control the output of the LLMs based on the questions of the queries that you're giving. So let's say if you generate answer for the same question and it's giving you different words, it's because it understands that you are asking the same question again because you did not like the first one. And when you're searching on ChatGPT, when you're chatting with ChatGPT, you will see that there's an option of thumbs up and thumbs down and other options after the message that it generates. So you can actually give your feedback, and it will learn from your feedback as to what kind of answers you're looking for, and it's going to curate those answers going forward as well. So it depends upon the prompt and what you're asking. And if you keep asking the same question over and over again, it's just going to change the words and not the meaning, because it's like it's trying to figure out what you're asking for is probably not in the same word. So let me just change it. So if you want a different answer, you got to change your prompt as well.
Okay. And I mean, prompts are becoming such a big thing. It's like a skill that's becoming part of life. Like, 30 years ago, everyone needed to learn how to type. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a terrible example. And now everyone's going to learn how to write prompts. So
Yeah.
I watched a podcast the other day, and this entrepreneur was talking about how the world has changed so quickly and so fast that all the children who've, like, I don't know what you call it in the States, when they finish school, like we call it matriculated, or finished, when they finish school, they now actually just not equipped to go out into the world because they've learned all this theory and they've got to relearn a whole bunch of new skills. So I feel a little bit like I'm 20 years old again, and I'm just very grateful that there's people like you out there helping us who are maybe our brains are not as exercised as the young ones. So yeah, I'm very pleased that that Pledge.ai exists. Any other questions, guys? Because we're almost on the hour. Else we can leave it there. Okay. I don't see any other questions, so I guess that's it. Darsh, thank you so much, and we'll chat soon. And oh wait, there's another message. Let me just see. Thanks, Devin. Appreciate it, and thanks for joining, people. And thanks, Darsh. We will chat
Thanks to
soon.
you. I'm just want to say that it's not that all I'm doing is I'm just coming out of the world with whatever my experience and expertise is. I'm sure I'm nowhere close to you when it comes to script writing or project management. Nowhere close. So when I need that particular thing, I'm definitely gonna be coming to you. So yeah, it's just this is what
we've all got our little things. So
exactly.
You know what? Before you go, I wanted to ask you something. I know that this landscape is changing so fast, and Google does ads and stuff. Gosh,
I lost you. I can hear you now.
I lost you too. Yeah.
Yeah, so you were saying the landscape is changing and Google ads. That's the last thing that I heard.
Yeah, I see all the ads. Obviously Google has ads, and people have said that they've seen ads on ChatGPT. I personally haven't been served an ad, but are they there? And
not on ChatGPT
what happens?
at the moment. It is on Perplexity, but not on ChatGPT. So yeah, not yet.
Oh, okay. That's why I didn't, and that's a whole nother thing now we have to navigate. So it's hard because it's changing so fast, and you got to kind of pivot every week. It's a different story. But we'll get there, and we'll keep going, and just keep us informed all the time.
100%.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Deb. Thanks, John. Thanks,
guys.
Max.
Thank you.
Okay. Cheers,
Bye.
guys. Bye.